Hey, everybody. So, a day in the life of a Mountain View physical education student. The students will come down to PE and I will greet them at the door. And this usually involves them greeting me how they want to be greeted. So, some students give me a hug, some students give me a high five, fist pound, handshake, things like that. And they also assign me their zone of how they're feeling today. So the expectation would be, if they're feeling pretty green, they're ready to learn. It's kind of this symbol. If they're feeling kind of blue, maybe they're a little sick, not feeling good, very tired, whatever. They show me that. If they show me yellow, that means they're either excited or confused or just feeling a little high speed. And if they show me red, and that's usually in combination with some sort of facial expression that clearly communicates to me pretty quickly that they're really angry or really upset about something, and then I need to kind of chat with them later. So this quick kind of threshold greeting gives me a good indication of like what my class is kind of looking like when they come in the room, and then that's just a really personal way for me to kind of greet them as well. So I always try to greet them by name. Also, that's kind of another way I try to just introduce the class or just start the class on a good note, I guess. And then after that, the students kind of head to their dot spot. There's a collection of dot spots painted on the ground. I specifically assign students a dot spot that I feel will be best for them as far as like who they're sitting next to, who's kind of in their like proximity, so they're not distracted and they're getting their best learning experience. I also am mindful about students that need to be closer to the teacher, students that are deaf and hard of hearing, who might need to have access, visual access to the sign language interpreter as well. So I'm very purposeful about where I seat students. And then we have our, this is kind of where I project my slideshows, where the computer is. Those are our daily expectations. So we go, this is a kindergarten through fifth grade, just consistent communication as far as what I expect of you on any given day. After I give the students a quick intro about what we're learning today, we will typically do our warm up. Warm ups are designed to hit the elements of health related fitness. So, this is going to be your cardiovascular endurance, flexibility, muscular strength, muscular endurance. Um, and on any given day, that could look like, something like this, for example. So, this is one of our daily warm ups in which students are completing what we call the sacred movements. So these are the 8 basic movement patterns that I feel like students should know or be able to master in some shape or form before they leave fifth grade. So your squats, your lunges, your planks, your push-ups, your back bends, your tornado twists, your handstands, and your pull-ups. Are all students going to be able to do all those things by the end of fifth grade? No, but my hope is to build kind of a foundation that they can build from for the rest of their life. We also have superhero school, just kind of for fun, hybrid warm up that we do. We'll do a cardio based warm up, which is sometimes jump rope, sometimes a presidential fitness test, which is the pacer test, which is, I'm sure, your third through fifth graders have probably mentioned. Not necessarily their favorite in the whole wide world, but it's a good mental and physical challenge for them. And then we have our follow along fitness, which is usually just some sort of fun video with like a superhero character. These are ones that I typically find on YouTube. We'll have freestyle fitness sometimes where they choose how they want to warm up, but it's a very consistent program that the kids know and expect, and they kind of know what's outlined on any given day. After warm up, we'll go over our learning intentions. Sometimes it's our what, why, or how. Um, that'll be kind of covered a little bit more in detail in the next slide. And then after that, it's just determined by whatever unit I'm doing. We might do some skill related games, some small sided games, but I like to teach games and activities in layers. So we'll do kind of the first level or layer, which is kind of its most basic version, and then we'll just kind of add a little bit each day, so it's not overwhelming to the students. They can kind of absorb each level in little chunks. Um, and then once it's about time to go, I usually allow for 5 minutes or so before class is over. We'll come meet at the crew circle right here, and that's where we discuss our glows and our grows. So this is where students have a chance to raise their hand and they can share a glow, which is something that went really well today, as a class, like a class celebration. We can share a grow, which specifically is a mistake or something we can do better. And this will sometimes involve students calling out mistakes of others, but never by name. So it could be something like, oh, during the tag game, I saw somebody was getting tagged and they weren't doing what they were supposed to do. So I'm very intentional about students knowing that if they're calling out a mistake, that is what we're here to do. We're here to learn from everybody, but we cannot call anybody out for a mistake because sometimes that makes them feel bad. And we all know that mistakes are just part of learning. So it's never anything we need to be ashamed about. And then the other one they can do is they can shout out a student. So, hey, I want to shout out so-and-so because, he or she did a really good job of, helping out during the game today or whatever. So they can kind of compliment each other. And they always like that. They like, hearing their names shouted out in front of everybody. And then last but not least, as students are heading out, they head out and they check out over here by the little checkout chart. So the expectation is they're grading themselves today based on our 3 class expectations. So if I moved safely, I worked hard and was nice, and I was a curious thinker, which means I was kind of open-minded to whatever the challenge was. I hit that 3 and just tap out the 3. If I was one of the best learners in class, above and beyond what was expected of me, that's that 4. And then I always tell students there's no shame in 2s or 1s. All that entails is maybe today wasn't my best day. I made a few mistakes here and there. And then it's specifically, and we'll describe, and we go over this usually at the beginning of the year. I was feeling a little stuck today. I'm making progress, but I wasn't quite there. So that's kind of a day in the life of a physical education student. So I hope that's helpful. And as always, reach out at any time with any questions you may have.